All right, we are back. I have Amy and her son. He is an adult, but still considered a teen. So, let's put him in the 18 to 25 crowd. So, I was going to talk to you all about AI and college, but I just had a really interesting chat with two moms with teenagers in high school. And I wanted to expand on the conversation, but obviously there wasn't enough time. Amy, first of all, introduce yourself. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Amy. I'm just excited to be here. This is such a fun podcast and I love listening, and thank you for having me.
Of course. And Nathan, just introduce yourself so that they know that you're here.
I'm Nathan. I'm in college. I finished my first year of college.
Yay! I'll have Leslie add cheers. First year of college. Once you finish the first year, the rest of it is a breeze. Sophomore and junior year were my favorite.
Oh my gosh, it went so fast. I mean, as his parent, it just so fast.
Okay, so online gambling. We touched on this, we meaning the Family Online Safety Institute, at our annual conference in November, but it wasn't really a huge topic that we really dove into. And I think we could really have a more fruitful conversation. So do you online gamble? Let's just throw it out there as I don't want to use the word gambling as this weird, uncomfortable word, but as sports fans, it's I want the Giants to win versus Dallas kind of thing.
Yeah, I've played sports bets and other stuff before.
Do you rely on it as a source of income, or you just like betting on your favorite team, player, and stuff like that?
No, I think it's something that just enhances the game, kind of makes it more fun to watch. Not something needed, but a good way to enjoy the game more for sports.
Tell me more. Are you an all sport kind of person, from golf to tennis to football, or you have your specific teams that you like?
No, I'm more of a football fan, especially. I watch a little basketball. If I'm betting, it's on one of those two, probably.
Okay. Tell me more. Who's your team?
I'm a Chargers fan for football. Then basketball, I like the Suns.
There's no competition here, so I like this. I am a huge Boston Celtics fan. I am not from Massachusetts, so we'll talk about that another time. And I am a Baltimore Ravens kind of girl. So good stuff. So who are you rooting for the finals at this point?
Right now, probably I want the Spurs to beat the Thunder.
Me too. SGA got it already. Let Wemby get his shine. Very cool. So were you all betting during your school year, or is this during downtime? Is this a part of your daily conversation, or you just hop on the phone or whatever you use and just start betting? Do you have a betting group? Just set the story for me so that I understand, because I have a 4 and a 3-year-old, just so you know. So I have no insight into this betting gaming world.
So, I mean, it's just me and my friends, we talk about it. We usually just do money lines. So we just bet on games and who's going to win, nothing player props or anything. So, but yeah, it's not every time there's a game. It's just once a week I'll place a bet on basketball sometimes. Didn't do it that much.
Amy, do you bet too? Out of curiosity, is mom betting?
So no, I'm not. I mean, I'll do the squares at the Super Bowl, parties and stuff like that, but not as far as online betting is concerned. Now in Vegas, that will, I'll play some blackjack, but not online betting. No.
Do you have friends that are really into it?
What do you mean by that? Addicted?
No, I wouldn't say addicted, because I would not put you in that position to throw your friends out there on a public podcast. It's just more do you have friends that get into it more than you do? And talk about no, give me a second, I need to bet. And I think I'm trying to put the perspective on someone who scrolls on TikTok versus is a content creator on TikTok. Do you have the equivalent of somebody who is betting constantly and talking to you about their bets?
I don't think I have someone that's a pro sports bettor, if that's what you're asking. But there is people that are definitely more obsessed with it and think it's a good way to make money than others.
Are they making good money off of this? I'm curious.
I mean, the people who say they make good money aren't always sharing their losses and stuff, obviously. So
Fair.
What I know, yeah, but probably not truthful.
Do you have any concerns about like the future of online betting? Because now the prediction market is a huge thing. So like people can bet on the weather or the news or like whether the stoplight's going to turn green and crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the fixed market stuff like Polymarket and Kalshi are kind of crazy. Like you can literally bet on anything. Most of the time it's like fixed and stuff. Like you can get insider information so easily.
It's wild to me because you can't do that on Wall Street. So I'm fascinated that like no one has picked up on like the prediction market kind of, they don't have like a regulator like Wall Street does. Like you cannot do insider trading for money. So why can you do that for betting? It's very interesting to me. Are you studying anything specific to technology in school?
No, not really.
What's your major?
Sports business, nothing like technology focused.
Okay. And what do you hope to do with that degree?
I want to work for a sports team, obviously high up, be able to football preferably. Fan engagement's probably like a good first step for that.
We have a lot in common. When I was in high school, I was the first student athletic trainer at my school and also the only girl. So that was a shock for everyone on the football and soccer team. But when I went to college, I wanted to do that for an NFL team, like travel with them, be on the field, everything like that. And then I realized how exhausting my life would have been every Sunday, Monday, now Thursday, and depending on whether they're overseas now, because they weren't playing overseas when I was in college. So very cool. Well, I hope that all works out for you. I do have one last question. How do you stay connected with your family through technology? Do you only text? Do you FaceTime? Do you play games or like send your mom memes or anything?
Mostly just text and call. I'll play games with my brother sometimes. Just, yeah, when I have time. If he's on the game, I'll hop on the game with him, but mostly just texting and calling.
Okay. What advice would you give incoming college students that may get a little homesick? Like the best way to stay connected with their families, whether it's their siblings, parents, friends from high school. What's the best way to stay connected while they're in college?
You always have time to call your mom. I mean, like anytime, like call her for 5 minutes, ask how she's doing, just check up. And yeah, you always have time to do the little stuff, make sure your family's doing well. If you're homesick, that is harder. I don't really have that experience saying I was in state. But yeah, I mean, making friends helps with that a lot. Just friends that will support you, make you feel less homesick.
Do you call your mom?
Yeah, a good amount.
Okay, just checking. I was like, practice what you preach. I'm hoping my son calls me as well. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time. I will not make you sit for the rest of the 15 minutes of this. I know you have better things to do than sit on a mom parenting podcast, but I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Amy.
Yes.
How does it feel to have a young adult that is digitally active? Like, how did that transition work for you as a parent to like go from the rules of the road for the phone and the laptop to the iPad to like the date he turned an adult and like left the house? Like he can take the parental controls off if there are any. Like, what does that look like?
That's a great question. And in my house, because I have two kids. I have a 12-year-old and I have a 19-year-old, the one we just talked to. And my younger son was actually introduced to devices much earlier than I probably would have and sooner than my oldest was because I divorced. When I got a divorce, to keep in contact with my little guy. So he had access to a device much sooner. And to have that, it's evolved. I mean, like everything that they're, doing these days, it's just evolved over the course of, the past 6 years, past 2 years, right? Navigating online with them and what they're exposed to has been kind of a struggle, I'm not going to lie. And you just really try to to be in the know and make sure I just try to be in the know with them and make sure that they feel comfortable coming to me and talking to me about things.
For me, I'm like imagining like going from constantly being on top of my kids, as you know, like when they're little, to like gradually doing the shift of like their independence. I'm assuming do you still pay the phone bill? I don't even know. Like, is it still, no, you do? Okay. So it's like, it's such a weird transition of like, it's technically your phone. So like,
Me and my younger son have this conversation all the time because it is my phone because I pay for it. And I pay for my oldest as well. But they have a hard time grasping that. Well, what do you mean it's your phone if I'm the one that's using it? And it's just respect and boundaries. But I do feel like with technology and the apps and all of that, like boundaries you just have to be responsible boundaries, right? But I love how you brought that up because they do come back and say, what do you mean?
I'm sure. So when do you have time to have those conversations now that your oldest has essentially his own life now? Like he can just pick up and go and come back whenever. Do you have like a set time? Like for my family, we would call it like the Sunday dinner requirement, right? Like no matter what you're doing in your life, you still report to Sunday dinner. Like do you have like a central hub where you're like, hey, at least once a week, check in about X?
I do that with my youngest son, but not as much with my oldest because he is an adult and he is out of the house. So I still do have that, time spent in conversation with my little one, not so little one. He's taller than I am. But yeah, we do have dinner with my oldest once a week because like he said, he's only 15 minutes away from me. So we do have dinner once a week and, discuss anything. That is a good habit to get into. And I feel that, families that do have that family dinner, it's something when, he was still living at home, we did every week. Now it's just harder, right?
Yeah, no, that's super nice. All right, shifting gears here, digital mom. Just going to ask you a fun question that I've been asking all the digital moms that have the opportunity to. How do you navigate the way that your children may or may not date? Because, you growing up, like there was no online dating. And now that's happening, it's like there's no like picking up at the door and like all this other stuff. Like, how do you kind of naturally insert yourself in like their online friendships and partnerships, or if there are any, and how do you educate them on that since like you may or may not be doing that yourself? I know. I've like overpacked this conversation. Amy's like, I'm getting off. I'm signing off. I do not want to talk about this.
Oh my. So if I'm being perfectly honest, I have actually never even thought about that part, right?
Really?
With my kids, no, I haven't. But that's so interesting. And now I'm like starting to play different scenarios in my head. One of the thing with my youngest is, those group texts. Those are things that will be part of your world one day. But these group texts that the kids have with girls, and then you have the side group text with, I remember reading, because I go back and read my youngest, his text threads and everything, make sure everything is copacetic. But there was a whole girl conversation happening in there. But that's really like the first time I thought about it. And with my oldest, I never even thought about that. Huh. Wow. Now you like unpacked something that my mind is just, that mind blown emoji. Like
Yeah.
literally my mind is like blowing right now.
So I'm curious now because like, so when do you do like cutting off on certain things? So like your oldest, like you said, it's your phone. However, like it's his conversation, and like the other person on the other side of that phone is respecting the fact that like they are having a private conversation with your son, not like your son and his mom. When did you cut off like looking or being a part of those like group chat conversations for your oldest?
Honestly, probably like when he was in high school, probably when he started driving. But with the youngest, it's like nightly. There's no phones. I have a no phone in your room rule. Yeah, overnight. But yeah, so I'll scroll his phone. If he went to bed after me, then in the morning when I get up, I'll be scrolling his phone. But I would say probably when he was about 16.
What prompted like the turn of the privacy? Did he ask, or like what made you get to that point where like you're comfortable with not having to like oversee the text messages anymore?
That's a great question. Always had complete trust, and the way that he navigated his friendships, I was just, there was never anything concerning for me. He's more of my wild child. And I feel like he and some of the kids that he, is friends with are a little bit more wild, and he's at a private school, so his friend group is small but solid. And but then a lot of times it's like everyone else in the group, so sometimes there's like too many people in his group chats. I don't think my oldest ever had like group chats like my little one does. So there was just more of a trust. Not that I don't trust my little one. So my youngest, he was just on the phone sooner. And probably so that probably, and just the way that everyone is. I remember having the conversation when my oldest finished fifth grade. So he's 19, 19 and a half right now. When he finished fifth grade, that's when elementary school was the end. He was the only one in his class, other than two other people, and they happened to be special needs students, that did not have a phone. Everyone else in his class did. And this was how many years ago is that? 10th, 7th, 9 years ago? I mean, to put things in perspective, as far as like the age group, yeah, like 9 years ago. I don't know why I got off on that. It went off on that direction, but to have 9 years ago, to have out of 27, 30 students, to have only 3 kids not have phones, that's powerful.
Yeah, no, it is. And there's different needs for it too. I'm learning so many things from other parents and the digital parenting world as the reasons for phones. When you shared that one of your kids, I should say, had phones very early on, Jana said hers was 5. You said 6 for yours. And it's because of it's a different household need and want. And that perspective is needed, especially in the materials that we write and the advice that we give to parents. We need to make sure that like that is there, and remember that like smartphones, we should be cautious with the younger ones to give them that much power, because smartphones are just that, they're smart, but at the same time, they're a huge tool for connection, especially when they're in different locations, because households are different.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's one of the things that I am so grateful for with the online safety portion of it, because like Apple, they have the screen time, and the different platforms, they do have age verification. And those are things that are coming about more and more, which I feel is very valuable. Something that I had to educate myself on, because I wasn't aware of all of the different restrictions that as a parent I could put into, the device, and something that I was grateful that I did have that ability for.
Well, As a firewall, I'm very proud of you. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for joining us, Amy. And please send my best and congratulations again to your oldest. I appreciate his time. I know as a young adult, but also still technically a teenager, this is not something that they want to do ever. It's like, why? But he was so great and gracious. So I appreciate your time and volunteering your son's perspective. Let's do this again. I'm Jordan. I was joined by Amy. If you want any more tools, tips, tricks, resources, please join us at sfosi.org. We are grateful for all of our listeners. Take care. This podcast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice, including medical, mental health, or legal guidance. The views expressed by hosts and/or guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Family Online Safety Institute, otherwise known as FOSI. Guest contributions are based on personal experience and are not intended as professional guidance. Any mention of products, services, organizations, or tools is for discussion purposes only and does not constitute an endorsement by the Family Online Safety Institute